Hey guys, Salvador here with Details Growth and CloseMoreCoatings.com. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through our initial ceramic coating campaign setup. So to get started, you're going to want to go to your search box here, and you're just going to want to type in adsmanager.facebook.com. That's all you got to type in, and you don't have to worry about all the other text that Facebook adds in here. So I'm going to copy in adsmanager.facebook.com, and you'll see that it takes me here to where I was, just in a different ad account. So I'm going to go back to that ad account I was in. Let's go to Sales, Auto Detail, and Ceramic Coating ad account. So once we're here, I know that if this is your first time creating a Facebook campaign, all of this might look foreign to you, but I'll walk you through step by step and kind of get you more familiar with this. So I think the best way to learn is by doing. So let's go ahead and start by creating a campaign. And then I'm going to choose the leads option. And you may see here the sales option. For the most part, the sales option works really well when advertising e-commerce products, right? So like stuff that you can buy online that you can get shipped to you. That's kind of where I think that the sales product is really useful for and really meant for when it comes to a Facebook advertising context. For this tutorial, we're gonna stick to the leads option. So I'm gonna click on this and continue. Okay, so it's going to ask us to choose a campaign setup. Let's go ahead and do the manual lead setup. Perfect. So it kind of takes us in this new screen. I'm going to rename this to Ceramic Coating Campaign V1, version 1. And one thing I personally love to do is to add in the date, today's date, into the title of the campaign. So like if I exit out of this and I see the title name here. So the reason I do that is because you want to know when you launched this campaign and how that affected your sales, right? Because sometimes there could be a delay where you kick off this campaign. It could be a couple weeks till you make changes. So you want to be able to look back at when you launched this campaign, how the campaign was structured and revert to it if you need to. So I would highly recommend adding the date here, and you'll kind of know what I'm talking about with reverting in future videos. So at the campaign level, we can do two things really, is kind of change the objective, which is the little pop-up screen that we saw previously, or change the budget. For this campaign, I'm going to go ahead and leave this off, and I'll kind of walk you through my thinking of that here when we get to the next step, which is the ad set level. Okay, so when you see ad set, I want you to think audience slash targeting. Because at the ad set level, this is where you do a lot of your audience setups and targeting. So first thing we're going to want to do here in the ad set level is select the conversion event. So basically, what happens after somebody clicks the call to action in the ad, right? After somebody clicks on the learn more button or the get quote or book now or call now button, where do we want, like, what do we want to happen after they select that? In this case, for this tutorial, let's stick to instant forms. And I think instant forms, like this is the default option that we do with our agency. We select the instant forms because that information stays within Facebook. Facebook can attribute that leads information to the campaign that we are running and even down to the specific ad versus a website where you have to add in the Facebook pixel, and tracking simply is not reliable anymore. It's not accurate. It's not reliable. Um, And a lot of this has to do with the iOS 14 updates that Apple released back in 2020, I believe, fall of 2020 or 2021. But whenever Apple released iOS 14 and it gave iPhone users the option to opt out of being tracked, a lot of them did, which kind of put an ad blocker in front of your Facebook ads. So now when somebody sees an ad, they go to your website, they fill out the information. Facebook's kind of in the dark with who exactly did that. So they're kind of shooting in the dark when it comes to the targeting and attributing that lead to this campaign. So we're going to stick to the website forms, or I'm sorry, the instant forms here. I imagine in the future we'll make videos on Messenger and a combination of both in the future. But for now, for this tutorial, let's stick to instant forms. Then you're going to want to double check that you have the right page selected. And if this is your first time creating a instant form campaign within your ad account, you might have to accept the terms here. Just go ahead and accept them, and you'll be able to rock and roll here. The performance goal, we want to leave it to the maximum number of leads. And I'll walk through why I think this is why we want to optimize for volume versus conversion leads um, when we get to the ad level here shortly. So if you see me scroll past something, a lot of it is because I personally do not use that option. So I kind of just ignore it, or I don't think it's useful to mention here. Like cost per results, like yes, you can enter in something. Facebook will try to optimize for it, but a lot of the times they'll kind of go out of bounds with whatever you put here. So we just can ignore that for now. I do want to turn on dynamic creative. I do want to turn this option on. And dynamic creative is amazing. It is probably one of the best features that Facebook ads has. Because with dynamic creative, you could basically give Facebook a series of different ad texts, different videos, different images, different headlines, different call to actions, and tell Facebook. And what Facebook will basically do is take all of those different versions of text, videos, etc., and create different combinations and choose the winner. So it'll give most of the budget to that winning combination. And the cool thing about that is it works for testing with smaller budgets. So you can get a lot of bang for your buck. And because Facebook is cycling through and testing those different variations of text, we avoid ad fatigue, or we avoid less ad fatigue, meaning that people will not just see one version of like one text, one image to where they begin ignoring it. They're getting sort of different combinations, so we can kind of use different wordings, different videos to catch people's attention better over a longer period of time. So I'll show you what this looks like again once we get to the ad level in the next step. But let's talk about budgets here. I would highly recommend sticking to the daily budget, and a good starting daily budget that I would recommend would be at least $30 per day for your ceramic coating campaign. And the reason we do $30 per day versus like 20 or 15 is because with $30 a day, this is what we set all of our clients by default. Because with $30 a day, we can kind of set a benchmark of how many leads we can expect and the quality of leads that we can expect as well. And $30 a day is what I would consider like a testing budget, right? Just something to kind of get started, to kind of see not only the number of leads coming in, but the quality of those leads as well. And then one thing I do want to really emphasize here is that I would highly recommend raising your budget as long as you're happy with the number of leads coming in and the quality of those leads. And you don't have to raise it a whole lot. Once we get the campaign launched, raising it $1 to $2 per week is enough to kind of help feed the algorithm, right? Because Facebook is optimizing for, you know, like the way Facebook spends the daily budget is by reach, by eyeballs, right? So if you can outbid your competitors in a smart way, just by simply raising your budget here and there while you're getting good results, this could really help the longevity of this campaign. It really helps avoid tanking the campaign, believe it or not. Um, which is like one of the biggest issues that we ran into a couple years back, where we were keeping the budgets at $30 per day, but then like they had a really great start and then it kind of fizzled and dwindled out. And a lot of that had to do with the budget just staying the same, right? Because imagine how many, not just how many other detailers, but how many other people in your area are marketing on Facebook, right? Those eyeballs are only going to get more and more expensive. So if you can get the maximum out of this budget, the better. So I would recommend starting off with $30 per day. And today is Monday, June 10th. I want to schedule this. Well, it's 10 p.m. right now. Um, at the time of recording this. But what I always recommend doing is scheduling the following day at 4 a.m. So right now it's June 10th. I'm going to schedule for June 11th at 4 in the morning, local local standard time. So the reason we do 4 a.m. is because 4 in the morning is really the optimal time to begin wrapping up your campaign because the campaign will technically go live at 4 a.m., but then it's going to take hour, 2 hours, 3 hours to really ramp up and start getting shown in people's feeds. And by the time it starts ramping up within those 2 to 3 hours, it's now 6, 7, 8 o'clock. And now people are waking up, they're starting their morning routines. First thing they check in the morning is their Facebook or Instagram feed. So we're catching them at the best time to really, again, get the best bang for your buck. We're not going to send an end time. This would be useful if you want to spin up a new campaign while this one's running and you want this one to end at midnight and you don't want any downtime to be with your ads. So we can ignore that for now. And we can ignore budget scheduling for now. We can ignore this increase your budget during specific periods. We'll go ahead and ignore that. And now we get to the audience, the targeting. So this is going to be super fascinating. I'm going to go ahead and just type in the area that I currently live in, Spokane, Washington. By default, Facebook puts a 25-mile radius. You can increase this, you can decrease it, or you can just the minimum that you could do the radius is 10 miles. But if you just wanted to target within the city bounds, like Spokane proper for this example, you can also do that. One thing I want you to pay attention though is this estimated audience size right here. So this is going to be super key because you don't want to target people where you just don't have enough eyeballs. You just don't have enough potential to reach enough people per day to make your budgets really competitive. So I always say the more people, the better. I would recommend a minimum, like a rock bottom minimum audience size of at least 100,000. But we also have clients where they live in very remote areas, but they're still able to stay busy within ceramic coatings. But I think at least 100,000 is a really good total audience size to aim for. So we're well within that. But let's say I am mobile. Let's do a radius. I would start off with 15 miles, whether you're shop based or mobile. Obviously, you want to keep in mind the audience size. But 15 miles, you really want to think about like how inconvenient or how convenient it would be for somebody to actually go to you or you go to them. So 15 miles, like that covers most of Spokane. Like you can get pretty much anywhere in Spokane within a 15-mile radius. But 25 miles, like let's say we increase this to 25, now we're kind of hitting like Idaho over here on the east side. So now we'd be getting leads from a whole different state, right? Because Spokane neighbors Idaho right here. So I mean, it's kind of like a preference thing here. You want to definitely use your best judgment and see like if it makes sense for you to go to them, not just distance wise, but also timing wise. Like if you live in California, somewhere more densely populated, or certain parts of Texas, where you could probably hit, you know, 500,000 people within a 10-mile radius, then that's I would leave it at there because you're checking the box with the estimated audience size, and it's not too convenient or inconvenient for you to go to them or you or them coming to you. So I would keep that in mind. And the cool thing about targeting is, let's say we wanted to exclude Idaho entirely, because again, Spokane neighbors Idaho, the state of Idaho here. And just to like double check, because there are a lot of people that drive from Coeur d'Alene here to Spokane. Um, a lot of them are coming into Spokane for work, vice versa. But let's say we don't want to target people in Idaho. Like we just want people who live in Spokane, who are residents, who don't just work here or are visiting for short periods of time. We can exclude the entire state of Idaho. We can also do certain cities like uh, Coeur d'Alene, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So let's say we wanted to target this city specifically. Now we can really like specify that Facebook, we do not want to target people in Idaho. So we can exclude those people from even seeing the ads entirely. And the cool thing about this is we can exclude and include with zip codes, right? We can add zip codes in bulk. So you can type in all zip codes 99354, 99202, right? So you can type in a list of zip codes that you can either specify and target or exclude from seeing the ads. And where zip code targeting really comes into play is with median household incomes. So, for example, let's go to Google. Let's do median household incomes by zip code, Spokane, Washington. Okay, cool. So here I am on Google. This is all publicly available data. And a lot of these websites get their data from the US Census Bureau. So a lot of this information is really accurate. So let's say this example, for just for this tutorial, this zip code right here really catches my eye because this is on the higher income spectrum, and this is a zip code that we specifically do want to target. So I'm going to go back to the targeting options. Instead of excluding, I'm going to include, and let's just type in that zip code, that one zip code. It pops up here. I'm going to click on it, and boom, look at that. It targets that specific high income zip code. So we obviously want to also target the entire, radius within Spokane. But if we wanted to like specify a certain zip code or a series of zip codes, we can also do that, which is amazing. Let me just see this one. I'm going on this website. Let me see what kind of zip codes they have here. Just kind of skimming through. Okay, here are the zip codes. Let me find the lowest median household income. It looks like it's going to be this one. Let me go ahead and go back to Facebook ads. And let's say I want to exclude this specific zip code from seeing my ads, right? Just because they're not going to be financially qualified to get their vehicle ceramic coated. So I'm gonna turn that off, or I'm gonna exclude this specific zip code, right, which has a median household income of $30,000 per year. I'm going to exclude that, which will help increase the quality of leads that come in, right? Because if we're excluding low income zip codes, then we have a higher chance of hitting people who are more higher income, more financially qualified, and have the disposable income to spend on a ceramic coating. So that's just one way to kind of increase the quality of our leads here with the targeting options, just by specifying and searching those zip codes. So yeah, I mean, again, use your best judgment and kind of see what areas are outside of your service area. How inconvenient or not is it to go to a client or to have that client go to you. I'm going to keep scrolling. Okay, so this right here, even though we told Facebook that we wanted to do the manual setup, for whatever reason, Facebook still has these kind of preset defaults options. So here at the Advantage Plus audience, go ahead and click switch to the original audience options. And then when you use original audience, perfect. So it kind of gives us a different view here. It takes us back up to the budget. So I'm going to scroll back down to where we were. We want to target, let's specify the age range. So again, this would be very specific to your market. I would use your best judgment. But when it comes to the minimum age that you want to target, I would stay within like the late to mid 20s as the minimum age. And then I would keep this to 65 and above. And the reason we want to do, raising it from 18 to 25 is because, 18, 19-year-olds, people in their early 20s are not going to be, or are not going to have the disposable income to spend on a ceramic coating. Not always the case, really depends on your market, but I think we can broadly say that. Genders, we can stick to both male and female, although you can specify either or. Um, I would recommend keeping it to all because you'd be surprised at the number of clients that we have had tell us that They heard about us from their wife, or they heard about our client from, a sister, a mother, right? And they ultimately ended up telling their lead that. So it's really useful. I think doing all would be the best option. And now we can kind of get even more granular and specific with the detailed targeting options. So here I'm going to go ahead and click edit. And here we can type in certain interests. So we can type in like auto detailing just to kind of plug in some things here. Cool, cool, cool. The issue with this though is because this is on job titles, we'd be targeting other detailing owners. So we don't want to do that. We want to do based on interests, right? They're interested in auto detailing. But I would even argue that the interest one also would target other auto detailers, right? Because other auto detailers are watching, detailing content. So instead of doing that, let's do something like the classic, high-end vehicles, Mercedes, right? So you can plug those in. It doesn't hurt to plug them in, but in our campaigns, from the testing that we've done, um, we haven't really noticed a big difference with adding in interest-based targeting. I think it helps, but again, ever since the iOS 14 update, Facebook's kind of out of the loop when it comes to the data that they have on hand. So if you find it useful, I would use it. But if you don't, then you can not use it as well. You can get. I would actually recommend not using it, and the reason is because we want the ad to do a lot of the filtering for us. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here shortly. But let's keep going. I'm going to remove these, and because I don't have detailed targeting options, this is considered a broad audience campaign, meaning we're not getting super specific on who we want to target here. We're keeping it broad. We're letting the Facebook algorithm kind of figure that out for us, which I would say with the campaign structure that we have so far, Facebook is well equipped to do that, right? Because we're not telling Facebook to go outside of Facebook for the conversion event, right? So like the website or the landing page, right? The data stays within Facebook. And that'll make more sense here in a little bit. I want to turn this little option off. Advantage detail targeting. I'm going to turn this off because if you have this on, it's basically saying, hey, Facebook, here are some parameters, but feel free to go outside of it if you think that the campaign will perform better, which it will perform better, but then you're also getting people way outside of your service area. It's not taking into account these exclusions. So this feature actually causes more trouble than good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. You can do all languages. Placements. Placements is super important down here at the very bottom. You're going to want to hover over Advantage Plus placements and click Edit. And then instead of doing the Advantage Plus placements, let's do manual placements. So placements are exactly what the word says, is where the ads will be shown. So you saw here that I turned off the audience network. The audience network are a series of third-party websites and apps that Facebook is affiliated with. I would highly recommend turning this off because a lot of those third-party affiliates are like historically low quality traffic, like super low quality traffic. We want to keep this to Facebook and Instagram. We want to keep it on the feeds. We want to do stories and reels. We want to do in-stream ads for videos and reels. And then I'm going to turn off search results. And the reason I'm turning off search results is because for the most part, people are not going on Facebook searching for ceramic coatings. We want to kind of be proactive and tell them about ceramic coatings and kind of plant that seed in their head initially. And for the most part, a lot of people will not be searching for ceramic coatings here on Facebook. Same thing with messages and apps and websites. So with that being said, we have our audience targeting set up, right? We kept it pretty broad. We're telling Facebook to kind of work its magic with the algorithm and figure out like the interest-based targeting. So with that being said, I'm going to go to the next step, which is the ad. So right here is the ad. And in parentheses, I'm going to put what is shown on other people's feeds. stories, etc. Okay, so here at the ad level, we've got a couple things I can do here. So this is not a partnership ad, so I can leave that off. Again, we're going to double check and make sure we're using the right Facebook page. I don't have an Instagram account connected to this Facebook page, but I can still advertise on Instagram. So I don't need an Instagram page to advertise on Instagram. So what Facebook essentially does here is your ad will still get shown to other people's Instagram's timeline. But when somebody sees your Facebook page name and they click on it, it redirects them to Facebook from Instagram. So it's a very convenient way to where you're able to advertise on Facebook and Instagram without needing an Instagram account. And then down here, I'm going to turn off this multi-advertiser ads. This would basically kind of put your ads next to other detail ads. So we don't want that to happen. We want to kind of be the only people, who are showing people who are interested these kind of ads. So now we get to the ad creative. So when you hear the word creative, think of photos, videos, text, anything shown in the ad is called a creative. And now this is the fun part. So in this video module, somewhere linked, you get access to the Closemore Codings ads library, which gives you access to our 17 top performing video ads and images, as well as all of our top performing text, headlines, descriptions, everything you need to just copy and paste into Ads Manager. And I'm gonna show you exactly what that looks like. So, okay, the first thing I would recommend doing is going to this link. And then here, you'll get access to this. So you'll be able to see all the 17 combinations. And before we add these into Facebook, I want to touch on kind of like the best performing ones and why I think they're performing really well. So these templates right here, the 5-year ceramic coating starting at X amount, these, I would keep this the same. Obviously, I would update this with your pricing. So, if this is like 1200, you can add that there. But one of the biggest reasons why I think this template performs the best has a lot to do with the video itself. And I know what you're thinking. This text here, won't it be distracting? Won't people not watch it? We've actually seen the opposite effect where this template with the pricing and the here in location, this template performs extremely well because it's attention grabbing, and more importantly, it gives them what they want up front, which is pricing. The other thing, or the other reason why I think this template performs so well is because of the video that the client made here. And we have a module below in this program called the Video Content Guide. I would watch that to really get the highest performing video content that you can run in your ads, or see what that looks like. So I'm not exactly sure if you can hear the audio on your end, but here Caleb is sitting down and kind of walking through his entire process of what he did here with his red Corvette. And he goes really in depth on the prep process, the different levels of paint correction, the ceramic coating that he uses. He goes super in depth. I believe this is a like 2-minute long video, but you can see he starts by sitting down. Um, at this moment in time, he's now shop based, but at this moment in time, he was working out of his house, his garage. So, I mean, like these ads work whether you're mobile or shop based. And I think it's kind of cool to see this in action. So he's breaking down the process. He starts with showing his face in front of the camera. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why these ads perform really well is because he's showcasing who he is. It's easy to build that trust. And he's able to kind of expand and kind of showcase what's included in this package. So this video template performs really well. Please use this as inspiration. Obviously, don't use Caleb's video here. but use the video content guide to learn how Caleb made this video or his thinking around it. And then now we have a shop-based video. So very similar to what we just saw. So you can see that he starts off by talking about, you know, why you would need the ceramic coating. And I think that's a really good proposition to have in an ad, right? You want to tell people why they need their vehicle coated and the benefits that they can expect. Great video there. This is just a photo template. We have cool text, protect that new vehicle look. You know, for whatever reason, well, I think I know why, but Ford F-150s perform extremely well, not just in Texas, not just in like the Sun Belt, but also up north where I am in Spokane. For whatever reason, the truck owners just love seeing other trucks, and it attracts more truck leads. So um, there's something about trucks that people just gravitate towards and they love. And when you get a very black, shiny looking black truck, I think this is what really helps pop out here in this image ad. Scrolling down, same thing, right? Black truck. Here we have a Chevy. Ceramic coatings here in Spokane, Washington with the arrow. Obviously, you would change this to your location. And I would swap out this photo. Again, please do not use this. These are strictly for references. And then here we have a demo video. So no voiceover. It's just applying the coating to a matte Tesla here. So here in the template, you can kind of position to where it's kind of showing most of the video in frame. So yeah, you wanna be mindful of that as well. Long lasting shine. Here we have a polishing video. So polishing videos also perform extremely well, like extremely well. So I would highly use, even if you set up a tripod or like you do, or you're recording a team member, for whatever reason, paint correction, polishing videos perform really well. Protecting investment. Again, here we have some shiny, uh, a very beautiful shade of blue. Only thing that I would really, obviously this is a reference image, but the only thing I would be super mindful of is the clouds, right? So this is looks like not necessarily an overcast day, but there are a lot more clouds than usual, right? It's not direct sunlight. That's the only kind of edit that I would make with this photo here. So great photo. It'll perform really well. And then here we have protect your investments. I'm going to play this clip. Um, oh, so the reason I have these like couple seconds here is because I want to show you something here. You can also trim this within Canva. If you duplicate and make a copy to where you're showcasing just like the start is where this person is polishing the video. So I'm going to expand this so I can drag it down. This video may not be the best example, but like you kind of get the gist, right? It's another polishing video performing really well. And I think down here, yeah, it kind of gets to where it's polishing. Yeah. So I would maybe trim it to this section where he's really going, polishing this section. Okay. I'm not gonna go through each one of them in depth, but you kind of get the idea. Like these videos, please use them as references, like as inspiration. Don't just copy and paste them. Because these are like your content will perform a lot better than this clip, for example, right? Even though this is a really good polishing clip, like we want to showcase your content front and center. But for the demonstration and this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and download. So I'm going to download all 17 files. Obviously, you'll go in here, you'll modify them, you'll add your own content. But for this tutorial, I'm going to download them separately, and they're going to download here shortly. And while we're waiting for that to download, I'm going to go over to the ads library, right? This Closemore Coatings ads library. Now that we know what kind of content will perform the best, let's copy and paste this text. So you can expand, copy and paste this text. I'm going to go back to Ad Manager. I'm going to go to primary text and just paste it here. Boom. So obviously you'll swap out the call us at your phone number, your business address, or just city and state if you're mobile, and the star rating. So I'll show you what this looks like. I'll put in some dummy information so you can kind of see what the end product looks like. Okay, so we don't want a whole lot of space between these 3 points down here, so I'm going to just group them together. And one thing I want you to be super mindful of is the spacing and like how it reads. Like I would keep it to where it looks identical to this. Because if you have this spacing, it makes it super easy to read this text. Now let's add in another text option. So I'm going to go back to the ads library document. We got version 1. Let's go to version 2. Cool. And paste. Beautiful. I'm going to add the other option. And I'm just going to copy and paste. Beautiful. By the way, all of these 5 different ad texts are all winners. Like these are things that we've tested with over $200,000 in ad spend. And I'll show you exactly, I'll show you like that spend here in a client's ad account shortly. It looks like this is a duplicate. Let me actually, why is that showing up twice and misnumbered? I apologize for that. If you see this, feel free to ignore that. I think, I don't know why they're out of order. Anyway, I'll edit it so you can see the 5 or 6 different ad copies to where there's no duplicates. But yeah, you would just copy and paste that text and into the primary text, right? So primary text into the primary text section here. So let's keep going. I'm going to go ahead and kind of ignore the AI pop-ups that Facebook has rolling out now, and I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste the headlines and all the different variations. Again, these headlines are all winners. They perform really well. These aren't just text copies that we threw into ChatGPT and kind of said, hey, create me attractive headlines. Like these are things that, again, we have over $200,000 in ad spend behind. So these are tried, battle tested. These aren't things that we're just kind of coming up on the fly. These are text versions that we know are going to win, right? We know that these are top performers. So right off the bat, you're starting your first ad campaign without a whole lot of testing, right? We've done that testing and all that spend for you, but you're starting your ad account without having to do all that testing. So you're definitely off to a good start. And lastly, I'm just going to copy and paste these descriptions down here. Obviously, we don't want the numbers to show, so I'm deleting those. Limited spots available. Beautiful. Cool. Last one here. 5 out of 5 star rating. So you want to use the actual numbers that you have on your Google reviews. So if you have, if you're within the triple digits of 5-star Google reviews, you definitely want to showcase that, right? Over 100 plus Google reviews, like that just adds a whole nother level of credibility that your competitors just may not have. So definitely want to lean on that here in the ads. You don't have to worry about display link. Call to action, we want to use get quotes for the most part. Either get quotes or learn more. If you have pricing in the ads, then I would definitely go with the book now option. But even with pricing in the ads, like if you're showing a starting price for a coupe or a sedan and you get a pickup truck lead coming in, like you're still gonna have to get all the information from them. So it's better to not even use the book now option. But if your pricing is standardized and you want to have the book now option, I would highly recommend it. But I'm gonna leave it out for this campaign, because I think get quote and learn more are where you want the call to actions to be. You want that to be the thing that people see. So let me check on the downloads. Downloads are done. Let me go ahead and open up the zip file. Perfect. Okay, cool. So here are all the ad versions. Cool, cool, cool. I'm going to go to select videos here in the add creative section. I'm going to select videos. I'm going to upload from my computer. So this is the file that I just opened. And I'm going to just select all of them. Let's see how many Facebook lets me upload. So this might take some time. Some of them are uploading faster than others. 1, 2, 3. So we might actually just be capped to 10. I'm not exactly sure. But the cool thing is that like while these are uploading, you can select the ones that have finished uploading. Some of these are processing still. So let's just give it 1 minute and we'll check back in here shortly. In the meantime, let me just double check everything. So we have the primary text, all the different versions. We have the headlines and all the different versions and the descriptions. And here shortly, I'll walk you through creating the instant form. So like what happens and where somebody fills out their information after they click on the get quote or the learn more button. So the cool thing about those photos and those videos that we just uploaded are that they're still going to upload even though we're not on this little pop-up window. So I'm going to give it a minute here to process. By the way, depending on the number of videos that you upload and the file size within those videos, it can take a minute. Like I think it can take about anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes to upload all the videos. But you see here that all 12 videos did upload. So let's go ahead and just click on these. And you can select, up to 10 videos and images. So I'm going to select all the ones that we have here just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the dynamic creative setting. So what we just built from start to finish is a dynamic creative ad. So we're telling Facebook, here are 10 different videos. Here are, 5 to 6 different ad texts. Here are 6 headlines, right? Couple descriptions, and go ahead and create different combinations of all these inputs that I gave you. And that's exactly what Facebook will do. So let me go to the advanced preview option. And you can see here, there's different videos, there's different versions of text that Facebook will just put out there and test for you. So now instead of you having to create an ad for each one of those combinations, Facebook's doing a lot of that heavy lifting for you, and it'll optimize, it'll use their algorithm to find the winners. So this is like a preview of what they all look like. So you can specify, you can see what it looks like on the Facebook feed, Instagram feed, stories, right? Video reels, all that good stuff. And we can specify and select different versions of text if you click on this little drop down here. And now we're looking at just the say goodbye to endless waxing version of text. And we can select on the other ones as well. Same thing with the headlines. Yeah, these are amazing. Cool. So, I mean, that's like a dynamic creative campaign. So now I'm going to walk you through creating your instant form here within Facebook. So now that we have the text, the videos all set up, somebody clicks on this get quote. What do we want to happen afterwards? So that's exactly what I'm going to walk you through here. So I'm going to let me see how I want to do this because I don't remember these questions off the top of my head. Okay, perfect. So I can walk you through this from a copy. So let me take a screenshot of this. Oops. let me take a screenshot of this section just so I have these questions and have them open in a different tab, somewhere where I can refer to them. Perfect. Okie dokie. Okay, so I'm going to make this from scratch. I'm going to exit out of this. I don't want to save this draft. I want to create one from scratch. So I'm going to call this a ceramic coating for V2 because V1 was the one that I had already made. But for version 2, I'm going to walk you through the same version, but just from scratch, just so you can kind of see what it looks like from start to finish. So here, once we name it, the thing that I would recommend doing after you name it is go to settings and change the sharing options from restricted to open. So this will allow other people, your friends, your family, your coworkers to share this ad with their network of friends and family members. So you definitely want to have this open to where this ad can now be shared with everybody, right? So it's kind of like a good way to kind of get more word of mouth out of this ad. So back to content here, I'm going to go ahead and click on more volume. Intro is going to be background image. So greeting here, headline. Let's type in ready for a glossy vehicle. Perfect. And then here in the additional details, I'm going to type in please fill out this form to get your ceramic rating quotes. Perfect. Now let's go down to the questions section. We don't have to worry about conditional logic. Let's go ahead and add in a question of a short answer. So here we're going to type in vehicle, year, make, and model. Next question is going to be a short answer as well, is describe your paint condition. Condition, perfect. And then what you also want to do is add in what is the best phone number you at. Next one is email address. Okay, so the cool thing about this kind of setup where we're having these short answers is that when somebody sees this, and you can see over here in the preview, when they open up the form, they're going to fill out these questions, right? So they're going to enter in their vehicle, year, make, and model, describing their paint condition. We can also add in another question like, how soon are you looking to get this done? And now they can tell you when they're like, what kind of timeline are they looking to get this done, which is super useful to kind of breaking down the lead quality, right? If somebody is looking to get this done in, the next 1 or 2 months, we'll follow up week by week. But if somebody's ready within the week, then we're going to be following up within a matter of days. But like I was saying, the cool thing about this is they're going to fill out and type in their vehicle information, their paint condition, and their phone number, and their phone number and email. And the reason why this is super key is because by default, Facebook has that information pre-filled. So you can see here, like Facebook will just pull your email, your full name from your Facebook profile and auto-populate that. And unfortunately, the thing that really sucks about that is that a lot of people's contact information on Facebook is outdated. So I'm going to go ahead and remove email. I'm going to keep full name. I'm going to add contact fields, zip code. I want to know what zip code my leads are coming from. And the reason we want to do zip codes is because if we notice that we're getting a lot of leads from a specific zip code, but they're low quality, now we know what zip codes to exclude in the targeting options for our next campaign. So just kind of a really useful hack there. Let's see. Cool. Pre-fill questions, privacy policy. Here, you just want to add in like your privacy policy. So I'm just going to add in domain.com/privacy. You'll just want to type in whatever your privacy policy is on your website. I'm going to type in privacy policy. Perfect. The disclaimer, I don't know if this is required. I don't think it's required. I think privacy policy is required. Message for leads. So what do we want to show after they've submitted their information? So I'm going to remove this thanks, you're all set, and I'm going to change this to why wait, call now. And then in the description, I'm going to type in click the button below to give us a phone call during regular business hours or wait, and a team member will get in contact with you soon as possible. Beautiful. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Perfect. So that wording works out really well because once they submit their information and they become a lead, you get that information sent over to you using our CRM. If you're using a different CRM, that setup will be kind of up to you. I'll walk you through those different options in another video. But the cool thing about this is that after they submit their information, we can actually give them the option to call your business directly. So instead of the lead having to wait for you to reach out to them, right here, after they've already given you their information, they would get the option to give you a call now. So I'm going to type in a phone number and boom, boom, this is what it looks like. Why wait? Call now, right? So click the button below to give us a call during regular business hours or wait, and a team member will get in touch with you as soon as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and create that form. Oh, description. I always forget this one. So we want to let people know how we will be using their data or their contact information. So we will contact you regarding your request. Perfect. Create form. Images required. Okay, so if you get this little error message right here, do not worry. It's kind of asking for a background image. Let's go ahead and save draft. Create form. Let me exit out of this. I'm going to save draft. Edit. Create form. Oh, now it's giving me a different error code. I believe this is there's something here that does not like. I think it's this plus button. Create form. Beautiful. Okay, so it was that plus button in the phone number on the thank you page. Cool. So from start to finish, we created our first ceramic coating campaign where we can test all the winning combinations of winning videos, winning text. So what this will result in is a higher chance of this campaign performing really well right off the bat. So again, we've done a lot of the testing for you. We have over $200,000 spent with just one client's campaign using the exact versions of text that you have here. So the cool thing about this is that like you won't have to do all that testing. Like these primary text, these headlines are simply copy and paste and you're off to the races. So now that we've created our campaign, we're going to go ahead and publish it. And again, this campaign will run the following day at 4 a.m. in the morning. But how do we get the leads from Facebook into our Go High Level account, into our CRM account, into the Detailers Growth CRM account? That's exactly what I'll walk you through in the next video. So I will see you over there.